Well, welcome everyone. This is Dad Livin, a podcast built for dads and really anyone.
And I'm Mike, by the way. I got two kiddos. They're 10 and 8.
So I'm Brian. I've got 3 kids, 2 twins that are 6 years old now, and a little guy who we like to refer to as our bonus baby.
I'm Brian. You guys in this room call me Johnny. Some people call me BJ.
Johnny.
Call me a lot of things. But I'm a father of 3, actually.
I'm Doug Yokes. And I have a 5 and a 6-year-old. Well, welcome everyone. This is Dad Livin, a podcast built for dads and really anyone. My name is Doug Yoko. I'm going to be the host to start out everything, and really, who we are and what we do is we're 4 dads, best friends. We've known each other since going back 3rd grade, 2nd grade.
Don't make us feel a long time.
Yeah. So, and ultimately, we have kids. We have, anywhere ranging from 2 to 10.
10.
God,
11. Yeah.
yeah, that's scary.
Yeah. So really, we wanted to kind of get on here, have a good conversation, and maybe teach everyone a little bit something. Well, and just I think ultimately discuss fatherhood.
Yeah.
And all the experiences we've been through.
Yeah, there's not many people, it seems like, talking about fatherhood and stuff. Everybody talks about mom stuff all the time, which is great. Moms are important, obviously.
Love you, moms.
Dads are important too. And I'm Mike, by the way. I got 2 kiddos. They're 10 and 8. A big reason I want to get into this is dads kind of get a bad rap sometimes. Like you watch all this stuff on TV, you see these commercials. It's kind of the dozy dad that doesn't know what he's doing. And it couldn't be further from the truth for most dads. Yeah, there's dozy dads out there, no doubt about it. But there's a lot of good ones out there too. And I kind of want to remind dads that are out there, hey, you're doing a good job, man. Just because society tells you maybe you kind of suck, but just keep working hard.
Yeah. Dozy. I like that word.
Dusty, dozy. I like
Dusty, dozy.
Dusty dads. There are dusty dads. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
If you're a dusty dad, don't be a dusty dad.
Don't be that dusty dad. You define that.
I was going to say, can you tell me what dusty
Yeah,
means?
just kind of like a lazy dad, maybe just relying on wifey to do everything and not participate and be involved. Yeah, they're your kids too, right? We all got kids. With be involved. That's it. Be present. So
That's good.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that before.
I like it.
All right, well,
Yeah.
transition over to me.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm Brian. I've got 3 kids, 2 twins that are 6 years old now, and a little guy who we like to refer to as our bonus baby. He will be 2 here shortly. So a lot going on. I think for myself, similar to Doit there, there's a lot of things you see out there for moms and not so much for dads, and it's tough to find content. I'd say, especially in my case, trying to find content for a dad who had twins was a lot to take on and try to navigate, all by ourselves, really. A lot of information for the mom, but not so much how to do that as a father while working, and hopefully being able to share some of that and having another child come along and throw that into the mix. There's a lot to be learned there. So yeah, to your point, I think you see a lot of these all-star dads, at least in my opinion, on social media, and they're doing all this cool stuff and makes you kind of sometimes feel like you're not meeting the expectations that you could be, but really you are. And I think there's a lot to learn from that, and what good parenting looks like is different for every parent. But hopefully we can share some things that we've all been through and take some pieces of information away that could be helpful for
Mistakes
you.
mistakes.
Mistakes.
There's a lot
are
of
great.
A lot of those.
Yeah. Well, and I think the big thing there is just like having that real vibe. There's all these dads out there on social media. Granted, they're getting paid thousands of dollars and then getting sponsored by all these fancy areas. brands and all that stuff. And it's like, okay, that's cool, but I can't stay at home all day.
That's not normal.
Multi-dual.
That's not a normal life. Yeah.
You know,
At least not at this point in time.
yeah. I mean, obviously, we all want to get to that point where we're uber successful, and I think we all are in this room, which is good. But I mean, in reality, we all have normal lives. We're in corporate America, we're entrepreneurs, we're first responders. So I think that's the dynamic here, where people listening, like you listening, you're not going to have that. So I like that.
Yeah, very good.
So
all right, I'll go. I'm Brian. You guys in this room call me Johnny. Some people call me BJ. Yeah, and they call me a lot of things. But I'm a father of 3, actually. Our oldest is in heaven. He would be turning 10 this year. Then I got an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old. And yeah, like you said, guys, like I'm really just looking forward to just sitting down with you guys, having deeper conversations. Life gets crazy sometimes. When we do get together with all the families, a lot of times just so much chaos with the kids. It's like, don't get time to get settled in, get really into deep talk. So looking forward to this, knowing you guys for almost our whole lives. So
Yeah.
and I was just thinking about that, how that what we have is really rare. And I think you hear a lot about just these days an epidemic of male loneliness, male suicide, and society's put a lot of pressure on men and taken away a lot from men too. At the same time, we're
Absolutely.
we're kind of coming out of the tail end of the Me Too movement that started a while ago, and like you kind of touched on, Mike, just men feeling like they're not useful, been kind of discarded, and it's that can be a lonely place for a lot of men out there that don't have a core group of friends. I think about, like, what would I be doing if I moved away for a job and I didn't have that family support or a core group of friends? Like, who would you talk to? So, hopefully our experiences we can share with the viewers out there, and just be a safe place for men to come. And, maybe they're thinking about the same stuff we're talking about, and we can offer some help for some people out there. So
That's great.
yeah, I love it. Have a little fun too.
yeah,
All right. All right.
That's one thing we do really well.
That's amazing.
Right.
And like I already introduced myself, I'm Doug Yokes. And I have a 5 and a 6-year-old. We were, it took a while for us to have kids, and once we figured out the recipe to that, we had an amazing little girl, and quickly after that, almost had Irish twins, 369 days apart. So, and we're blessed. Obviously, I think the journey to get there, I think we've all had a little bit of experience with that, and that was one of the things that no one ever told us.
Yep.
That part of the journey of just becoming a father.
I think, yeah.
And that was honestly, I think, for a lot of us, very emotional and very draining. And, I
think, yeah.
I
think
completely
for
different.
each one of us, it was a little bit different, but I think
yeah.
me and you, Yoko, definitely, you think about that, and it was always get it in, you have a baby, it's quick, right? It's, it all happens.
It'll happen
but
instantly, right?
for me, and at least in my case, it took years for us to get to that point, and finally decided to really go all in, and ended up with the twins. So I don't know how you did back to back after twins. Like,
man, Kelly's doctor was spot on. And for the future dads out there that are listening, you're in this OB office, and she's telling you, you have to get a sperm sample, and you have to do all these things, and it's intimidating, man. That was tough. And for me, I just felt like I just wanted to support her as much as humanly possible throughout this, because every night it would be, for my wife, just crying and having that emotional drain, and why can't we have kids, and what's going on? And that happens for 2 years. And like I said, that's probably one of the most emotional things that I've ever been through. But being there in those offices to kind of get there, she even told us once we got pregnant, it was like, all right, we figured it out. I will say this, she's primed and ready to go, so just be careful. And I just let him go.
primed and
so
yeah.
It was definitely a surprise. I remember walking in that day, and my baby girl who was like 6 months old, 5 months, geez, less than that.
Yeah.
Had a little sign saying, I'm going to be a big sister. I was like, no, you're April Fools, right? No.
I think going back to your point though of if you think about something else nobody talks about and having to support your wife through is miscarriages. We had a lot of those, and you went through the most devastating thing ever, Johnny, and losing your son. But those are moments when you really have to figure out how to be there, even though you don't know how to be there, right? You don't know what your significant other's going for. And I think that was some challenging times for us, just trying to figure out what the right level of support was. And even if you're not understanding, I think as a father who's going or hope soon to be father or even current father, it's a tough place to be and how you show up. But I think the key is you just show up, and that's all that matters, right? I know. Just being by her side, doing whatever you could possibly do makes a difference. I think it's something that I don't think is discussed enough. But those things happen. Yeah, right.
Well, especially from the men's side. I didn't experience any of that, but obviously I experienced it all through you guys. And I mean, it was devastating for me to just watch you guys go through that. So I can only imagine what it's like, actually having to deal with it. Yeah. So it's important, I think, that everybody out there listening understands that you're not the only ones going through this, and it's important to talk about it and be open, because as men, we frequently just try to ignore, bad parts of our lives or just stuff it away or whatever.
I think we're trained.
Well,
that's how we're trained. Yeah.
They're trained by society to just be a man. And you know what? That's not always how it works. Sucking it up doesn't always work. And I am a prime example of that. So,
I think, again, as you mentioned, Johnny, like for us, we're lucky we had this core group because we had individuals to lean on. We knew others were going through it, which made it a little bit easier. And being able to discuss those things with somebody who was personally going through it made it a bit easier. But, for those that don't have that, find somebody to talk to. I think it makes a difference, whether it's a friend, a family member, or seeking professional help. I can't say enough about those types of things to help work through some of those difficult times.
I think it's going to be a common thread that's going to come up as we do this. It's just the mental health aspect of fatherhood. It's something that's talked about ad nauseum these days, but not as much for the male perspective. And, we saw our dads always just suck it up.
Deal with it.
Just bury things down.
I don't know if I've ever saw my father cry.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I did once his father passed and things of that.
And that's the only time
growing up
as well was when his
growing up
yelling about it.
Yeah, that's kind of how we were all taught that old parenting lifestyle. I feel like I don't know personally.
I never saw emotions from my dad. Yeah, like he'd be the first to say he probably was taught that to be tough. And once obviously his father died, same thing with you. Like that's when I first saw it. And but I've always pushed it down, like always. I think we all have. And I think as you kind of get older and you work through some of these things, like life's tough, man. Every day,
especially now.
Yeah,
it's way different than when our parents were raising kids. There was no pressures from social media or all this stuff to do these different things. It was just kind of, you just did it.
I mean, you're doing it, no offense to the older generation, but you're doing more work in a given day. You're battling things that are happening instantly versus, picking up a phone and calling and maybe leaving a voicemail or doing some of these things. And everything's happened so quickly. Social media is a different thing. I can't even fathom, dads that are going through teenage daughters or sons and all that stuff.
Not ready for that.
But, one of the,
I think they're teenagers already sometimes.
Yeah. And that's the tough part. And I think, there's a common thread, just communicate, just talk about it. And that's where, talk about with your kids, your significant other, especially if you're going through something. If you're not communicate with your best friends out there. Because I think, there's you have your significant others that you could talk anything with. But when, we're together, it's something where we can just, it's a lot like that, but it's carefree. We could talk about those things. We can show some of the emotions. We can work through some of that stuff, and that's good. Like that's what you need. And if you don't have a support system out there, that's where,
I think that's why it's so important to have other men in your life. I think a lot about just the phrase of iron sharpens iron. And if you don't have other men to go to with some things you can't talk about your significant other with,
I agree.
whether you're having insecurities about your relationship, money, providing, you don't always want to bring that out with your wife, And man, if you're on an island, just burying that down, man, it's going to lead down a bad road. So, um, you know, I, even if you don't have lifelong friends like us, I mean, we're blessed to have that, but there's so many, like, just getting involved in your community or your church, like finding other men's groups, or if you are having mental health problems, like getting counseling, like there's, it's so important to be able to talk through things and have support. And I think that's going to be something that's going to come up a lot.
Yeah. The counseling thing is even easier now, like, with Zoom and online stuff. I've heard so many people that have had positive outcomes with that, and it's cheaper. It's more consistent. It's kind of the teledoc thing. Yeah. But that's the positives with the society these days, and I think that's where, once again, if you're just talking through, I mean, I think that's huge.
Yeah. So working in what I do, I work in human resources, and I think more and more companies are realizing the impact of mental health. And so I'd say for anybody who's listening, if you're not aware, I would ask your company if there is something that you can provide along those lines, because there likely is a resource that
EAP resources you're not aware of.
Yeah. But going back to what we were talking about, like the emotional thing and not seeing so much of that from our fathers, I think that's one thing I've learned. I try to reflect back as a kid growing up and some of the things I wish I would have seen more, and how I can instill that on my kids. And I realized recently, I think the emotion piece wasn't something I wasn't showing much, because we had my brother-in-law pass away, and my kids were like, Dad's crying. And I was like, yeah. And they were very much, we've never seen you cry. And I was like, oh, wow. It's kind of like that's something I always wanted to make sure that you guys knew it was okay. So having that opportunity in an unfortunate moment, I was able to open up and talk to them a little bit about, like, hey, it's okay. This is why you cry. You need to do these things. It's okay to do that. And turned into, an actual good teaching moment. Shocking coming from me, but it was good. And it was something to, reflect on and be able to say, all right, it's okay. And now how do I make sure to keep this going so that my kids see it and know that it's okay? And, I feel more, again, when you think about it from a male side, I think about it from my son and making sure that he knows that's okay.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Got to find those opportunities.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, sometimes they show up in not the best way.
Yeah.
But
and I think the big thing is there's no playbook to this. There's nothing. They hand you a kid. They hand you a baby coming out of the hospital, and
have fun.
And it's go. So
as they say, you can leave. I was like, I can leave. I don't even know what to do right now.
What's going on?
That drive home, I'm on the highway. I was doing like 40.
Yeah.
White knuckles.
Getting home. My wife's like, what are you doing? And that was a scary moment. But you get over that real quick too. When you get to your third kid or second, you realize they're rubber. And you don't have to pay that much attention to them all the time. It's okay.
My 5-year-old who just learned to ride on two wheels is outside riding his bike by himself. Good dad. But I think he has to learn some of the challenges. He's got to fall a few times to get back up.
My wife hates it, but I always say, I was like, they'll learn. They'll fall off something, they'll learn.
That's the big thing.
They teaches really well.
Yeah. We don't have to protect them from
the most dad thing I catch myself saying all the time is like, well, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Every day I think I say that.
Well, and they figure it out probably because we have nothing to turn to that really helps us in those moments either. But I do think they'll learn. You can't protect them from everything, and they've got to teach themselves at some point.
Yeah. Well, that's the big thing, I think, with the dad side of things, that you want to be that protector. You want to protect them. We've had, I agree. I think I don't know if you guys have had like bullying yet and some of those things, but we've had some rough kids in daycare. For Gus, obviously it's a little bit lighter on the girl side of things, and they almost like naturally go into
they get older.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Girls are mean.
Yeah. But I think the boys side of thing in the early stage, like
some mean girls growing up.
Oh, wow. It's unbelievable sometimes. Like, oh gosh, like I can't believe
worried my daughter, she's in kindergarten, she was going to be a mean girl already. Like, it's already starts. Like,
Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's the challenge, I think, is just letting them, they're going to figure it out. They're going to do it. Like, I mean, I was bullied at one point as a kid, and until I stood up to that one kid who ended up being one of my good friends.
It wasn't me.
It was Lavelle.
oh,
yeah.
I will do that with him.
After that point, I had
Is that the kid that you threw gum in his hair the one time too? I think that was like 6th grade.
probably
I'll never forget. You threw gum in somebody's hair.
6th grade. That was a little.
Johnny was the bully.
Yeah,
Johnny
was a little rough.
Johnny shut out of his life.
Bro. Episode. Yeah, that's
an elementary
Title of the episode will be shit disturber.
Yeah. So
I mean, love it.
Well, I think about this a lot. I think about my dad's shortcomings as a father and probably his father's shortcomings and like how each generation tries to do better. And whenever I catch myself being my father, I beat myself up so much. Like, you've told yourself you're never going to be like that. You're doing it right now. And it's, well,
because it's in your DNA.
Fortunately, I added into there. Yeah. But same thing happens to me. I think we can all relate. I think we've all seen ourselves as our dads at some point in time, but at least you've got the, the reasoning to say, oh, I'm doing it and trying to change or make, you're reflecting on it.
And I think too, once you look back, they didn't have a playbook at all either.
Even less than we had. Like,
Yeah.
there was no internet, so I'd be like, what do I do here?
I think it's like encyclopedias.
and
To go to the library.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Use the what's that system?
Oh God,
Dewey Decimal.
Dewey
Decimal system. There you go.
I
That's
never like talking about that.
jeez. How did we get to the Dewey Decimal System? There you go.
Tangent. That's you guys have
Yeah.
figured out. Everybody listen out there. We're probably going to get off in some tangents, and
We
we'll
went
try
down
to
a
keep
rabbit
it not too personal though, so you all know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, and I think too, like kind of going back to the dad situation, my dad was incredible. Like, he was always there and fun and supportive, but he had projects every weekend where if I wanted to play catch or wanted to do something, he was typically like, no, pick up a hammer and help me, which now, like, probably then I was a little upset, but now it's paid dividends. I mean, I'm able to do stuff that I
Don't realize
be,
at the
be
time.
handy and helpful, and it's kind of now in my DNA. But I'm also at that point, I look back and said, how can I change myself to be a better dad? Now, granted, my dad was absolutely incredible. He's probably listening right now, and he was incredible for what supporting me and building me as a man. I just look at it and say, okay, I'm going to evolve a little bit more. I still have projects, I still have these things, but I'm going to take the weekend and spend it with the kids, and maybe only spend an hour on a project, which I don't get as much done as no one. And I probably kick myself, and that's my dad talking, in me a little bit. But it's also one of those things too that I absolutely.
I think nobody's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
No.
And I mean, but sorry, not to cut you off, but I think if any of the dads are listening, nobody did anything wrong. It's just as sons of you, we've seen good, we've seen bad, and we want to evolve just probably as like you did. So I want to make sure, at least from my side,
Our dads had a conversation.
No.
Our grandparents, being like the World War II generation, you can only imagine how they brought up our dads.
Yeah.
Was probably way light years from what we're.
Oh, I've heard stories
So
of the 2x4.
It was a different time.
The stick.
So,
Yeah. None of that made it to me. So I know.
Exactly. It did evolve.
So, well, now it's gotten to the point where, okay, go back 2 generations to now, you're either on the fine line of being a helicopter parent or gentle parenting. And, not to sound like a hard ass, but like, where do you find a happy medium where, like, for example, I'm not going to name names, but I was observing a fellow peer of Brody's recently, and this kid was just having a shit fit in the middle of whatever we were doing. And they just let it go. let
Yeah.
it go. Like where I was, if that was my kid, I'd be dragging him
Yeah.
off the field.
Not my style either.
Not mine.
Be addressing that. But then I'm sure, we would be judged for that, but that's in my opinion. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, that's unacceptable. And, in some cases, like it or not, I think society's gotten too soft on how they parent. And, as much as I like to say they'll learn, I want them to learn from falling off of something or whatever, but you're not going to act like that in public. Like there's a level of respect.
When it comes to like you're disrespecting the people you're supposed to be listening to or other parents, like that's where I gotta draw.
This isn't a 2-year-old either, for all of you that don't know.
Yeah,
We understand
Totally
that
true, yeah.
ages make a difference, but this is not a 2-year-old. What's he, 8? 8, yeah. So, I mean, there are some expectations out of 8-year-olds for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So we're recording this. It's almost summertime. That's going to bring different challenges for everybody else. What do you guys?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, lots of plans. Dougie, what do you got planned already? You sounds like yours.
What does my wife have planned? Which she is absolutely amazing. I love her to death. She is a event planner for many years, so we're planning our meals a week or two ahead and working through that. She loves it. It's a passion, even though she'll curse me out a few times. But at the end of the day, she's absolutely incredible. The plan is, so right now we are in between school letting out and camp starting, and we have summer school lined out, and that's going to be fun. I mean, our old school, Rogers. Can you believe that?
Shout out to
Like that is shout out to Rogers.
Bears.
It comes full circle when they're going to go to school there. So for me, and then nice little summer camp for the last couple of months. So it'll be good. It'll be interesting. It'll be the first time we have a preschooler that just graduated. So he's going to be out from there. We get some extra money, which is fantastic. Daycare is a blessing and a curse.
Oh,
it is. It is.
It's something special here in the United States, no doubt.
Man, I thought the same thing. I thought I'm getting myself a raise here. The kids out of daycare.
You'll find
no, there's just more stuff.
It always goes into something, doesn't it?
that money isn't going in your.
I was like, oh man, I could afford a boat payment now. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things. When we looked at it, was like, oh my god, this is fantastic. Now we are putting that same amount of money into the summer camps and stuff, so we're not going to see it. But it's already money out of our bank account anyways. But once school comes, I'm like, all right, what can I do with that to put it away?
Yeah.
Like do something proactively. So we'll probably have something.
I did not appreciate the challenge of like our 3 wives are stay home during the summer.
Yeah.
But everybody else that both parents work 9 to 5, like, I mean, their kids are going to camp. Unless they go to grandma, grandpa's, they have that. They're going to camp every week all summer. Where it's just like, I didn't know you had to like sign up 6 months in advance. I'm like,
it is
competitive.
And I mean, we got our kids in 2 or 3 camps this summer, but stuff adds up.
It does.
Yeah, it's expensive. It's just as expensive as daycare.
Daycare. Yeah. It is literally replacing daycare for us.
You're really not getting any kind of break.
No, not till August or September. And that's where for us, like case in point, like you have your birthday bash next week. Asti has this amazing birthday bash going on.
Let's go.
And we're between a rock and a hard place because our parents are watching the kids all week. Yeah. And granted, it's Memorial Week and there's only 4 days, but if we went back, I mean, they would probably say, yeah, okay. But it's hard to ask that from your parents that are already stretched and they're retired. They get to enjoy themselves. But at the end of the day, it's like, all right, so we're looking at alternative options. And so at the end of the day, it's a little hectic, crazy. This will be our first time. We've always had daycare. We've always had something there to lean back on. This will be our first time. So I'm scared, nervous, excited.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. But what do you guys, anything big with the kiddos?
We're doing summer school too. 3 kids at home. Megan needs a break, toughest job ever. So yeah, it'll be good for her and keep the kids learning a little bit to keep that bridge down. It's our first time going through this too with the twins just graduating from kindergarten. So this is our first real summer break. But yeah, we've got them in summer school and then we'll mend
Yeah.
next 2 months, I guess it is.
Shout out to all the stay-at-home moms. Yeah, I don't know how she does.
That's a
tough job.
That's a tough job.
tough
I-
job.
Yeah.
Fortunate that I have that situation, but
Ooh.
nothing I would ever want to do.
My sister did it for years when the kids were kind of growing up, and she's a teacher by nature. Shout out the teachers out there too, because that's tough as well. And you can see just the impact it had mentally.
It's a different
It's a completely your work is your home, which is the toughest part. So
I always thought that was something like every wife would dream of. But, with my wife being a teacher and she stays home, like she's constantly trying to entertain them.
Yeah. Oh, it's all about
And
it.
so like after the first month of summer, like she's done all this fun stuff around town she can think of already. And it's like, she needs a break.
It's a job.
Yeah. I don't know how your wife does.
Yeah,
But
it's tough. There's no doubt about it.
I had this weird thought the other day. I took the kids out of school early one day this week. And let's just go have fun. School's almost over. And we went to the park. And, I was like, man, I'm so ready for summer, but I'm so not ready for this time to move on to the next phase. Like this whole school year just flew by.
Oh,
Like, man, like it's just going too fast. Like I'm not ready for it to be a third grader yet,
Yeah.
And I just sitting there thinking that like, man, as much as I'm ready for this next chapter, I don't want it at the same time. It's weird.
Yeah, our one of the twins teachers sent like a goodbye note home to the parents, and it had this key phrase, and I decided to keep it because it was really good, especially as I get frustrated over the summer. But it was like, this time is short and they'll only be this little for a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And it's like it's true, they're getting out of kindergarten, going to first grade. It's like this part of life is not going to of fun and imagination is only going to be here so long. So when you get frustrated with them wanting to constantly do things with you and always your attention, it was like, stop, pause, and reflect. Like it's only a moment in time. It's unfortunately fleeting.
You can't get it back.
Yeah. And that's so true. I dropped Gus off. It was Wednesday. We had a crazy morning. Our mornings are just insane sometimes, especially when my son's not listening. My daughter doesn't want to go. It's crazy. And I'm the one that wakes everyone up and gets everyone going and makes the lunches and gets that stuff. And it's in the afternoon where I can't get off right at 5. So we play off each other so well in that case. But it was Wednesday. It's just crazy. I yelling a little bit, and finally got Gus out there. I'm 10 minutes late to work. I have a meeting at 8:30, that I have to prep for and kind of get ready for. And I just stopped for a moment. And sometimes you just got to catch yourself in those cases and say, like, wow, this is the last time I'm dropping you off at preschool, man.
Yeah.
This is the last time I'm going to drop you off other than the bus. And I stopped for a moment. I caught myself, and we had just a good minute embrace. And then I was, the emotions hit me on the way into work. I felt that, and we all have them. And I've been listening to the song, and I said it to Johnny, "Life Goes On," by Ernest. It is absolutely incredible.
Okay.
And I played that a couple times and just caught myself, and I kind of reset. Crazy morning and had a good day. But yeah, sometimes as dads, it just goes. And
sometimes you got to take a deep breath and just get to a place of gratitude, man, and just
that's
right down, grab a beer.
Really, we sound like we all have our shit together so well, and that's so not the case. We're just everything, and we're able to look and see, where problems are and stuff like that. But man, we sound awesome. Just everybody understand that we make as many mistakes as if not more.
We'll absolutely share.
Yeah.
I think there should be a dad fail segment for sure.
Oh,
we're gonna have some fun segments.
Maybe a daily segment, bro. That's what I have for sure.
yeah.
One more thing on summer, real quick. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they're saying basically, you're lucky if you have 10 summers with your kids before they get involved in whatever their interests are. They start having best friends, and they want to run off. And and it's like, well, yeah,
that's true.
I got maybe 2 more here. So it's like, man, Just try to soak it all in as best you can.
Think about us. I mean, we were rolling around fifth grade. Mike's gone all that time.
Had the junior high, wanted nothing to do with my parents. Looking back, I wish it wasn't like that.
It comes fast.
And bike crew now. Oh man, we had it good back then, didn't we?
Oh man,
No cell phones.
So wait, how's the challenge with you working overnight starting in the summer and all that stuff? I mean,
It is. I am a first responder. I'm a police officer. That's my daily job. It's extremely difficult for all of you other first responders out there. Anybody that works a rotating night shift, man. All I can say is sometimes it sucks, like bad, especially during the summer because I just started my night shift. We on 2-month rotations, so like for basically the first 2 months of my kid's summer, like I'm going to be sleeping until the afternoon and missing all of those things that are occurring during the day, which is difficult. And not only that, my wife she can't rely on me at all. Have to sleep at some point. So she's taking care of all of that. So she's a teacher. So she stays home during the summer which is a blessing because we don't have to do the camp thing, which is great, but it's also just a huge amount of stress on her.
oh yeah,
Having to come up with things to do, like what are we going to do today? Don't wake up dad's sleeping. He got off late or, what, it doesn't matter. It's just, it's a constant battle
yeah.
with that. So
You've been doing this over a decade now. Do you ever get used to it?
no, it's gotten harder. I'm 39 and, when I was 22 and when I started, it was easy and I loved it. Now it hurts. Like every night shift is a little bit harder as I get older. It just gets harder and harder.
I can only imagine.
And you guys know me, like my beard used to be red and it's completely gray now. So, it's
your dad was the silver fox though.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Get the white hair. Yeah. Shout out to Pop. Yeah.
I'd rather silver than.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm not trying to
There's
do
a
it.
succeed,
It'll continue to go on that track.
It'll look
my goodness. And
Always be worried about it. I shave it if I was worried about it. So
no, that's crazy, man. I couldn't even imagine that. Even like trying to work an overnight shift. I've done some marketing stuff where I have to get up at like 2 a.m. and I'm dead the next day. So.
Yeah, I can't lay down when the sun's still out.
All right, it's hard. So you sleep mask and what do they call the curtains? The blackout shades and stuff. Yeah, it's all part of the my life now. And so it's an experience. And but you do it because there's people relying on me to do it. So I have to. I certainly don't hate my job. I like what I do, but it presents its challenges, and we're just working through them, grinding it out, and the one benefit is I get to be retired before all of you. So
there you go.
I will be
gonna live at a casino.
Yeah,
for years.
yeah. So
you'll be going back to work quick if you spend all your time there.
That's a good point. I mean, I'll just work at the casino, and I don't work in my.
I think for a lot of like the police officers, there's a lot of those corporate, security type things when you retire, you're not getting a pension.
Come work over for our company.
Yeah,
we retire in security all the time.
Yeah.
As long as it's not overnight.
No, we'll get you on the good shit.
Yeah.
I love it.
No, that's the one thing I won't do. I will not work overnights when I retire.
Should we wrap this one up?
Yeah.
Uber to all down here.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the Cardinals game today. We're gonna have a Dad's Day.
We told everybody that we're all from St. Louis, Missouri.
So if you couldn't tell by the video, we got a couple of Cardinals.
We got Cardinals.
And if you're in Chicago,
I'm sorry. We still love you.
Still love you. Just disagree with the
Not
teams
necessarily.
right there. But wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, whatever situation you're in, hopefully you're getting some from this, and you can learn something that, hey, we're not perfect, no one's perfect, and there's no playbook. Hopefully, as you're listening through this, you pick up a couple pointers and learn from some of our experiences, right?
Yeah, our mistakes.
Right. Yeah. So, cool. Well, that's the end of this show. Appreciate everyone listening, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah. Take care.
See y'all.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.